Welcome, everybody. My name is Susan Rathbun. Thank you. I work with the San Diego Supercomputer Center at UC San Diego. And I have been involved with PEARC for about 4 years. I got involved because one of our colleagues, Bob Sinkovitz, had chaired the group, and so I got involved. My background actually is I run programs and events at the Supercomputer Center. And so this is one of the few conferences that I found that kind of fit and helped educate me on the community. So it's been really beneficial, and I've really enjoyed being involved in it. I'm on the committee of accessibility and belonging. And so one of the things is first-time attendees, really trying to open up the community connections and information to folks, and that's why we have started these webinars. My colleague Dominica, I'm going to ask her, she's going to introduce herself, and then we'll start the program.
Hi, so my name is Dominica Gloa. I work for Wood Mackenzie, an energy consultancy company, and I also sit on the CAF committee together with Susan. And yeah, I have become part of PERC 3 years ago, and I have been involved with CAP work ever since then. And even though I come from completely outside of research and academia and high performance computing, because the conference is covering such a wide range of different topics, I find them applicable in the industrial settings as well. So I am really glad to be part of it.
Great. On the back end, I've got my colleague Cindy Wong, who also sits on the committee and actually handles the webpage. So I'm going to have her drive on the back end, and here we go. We're starting off that this is 10 years of PERC, the Practice and Experience in Advanced Research Computing Conference. I've watched, just since I've been involved, I've watched this conference grow from, I think like 600 to 1,000 in the last 4 years. So it's gotten more and more popular. So welcome to Minnesota. For me, it's been well, I was a youth, very young, the last time had been there, so I'm looking forward to going back to Minnesota. Next. So here we have it, celebrating 10 years and taking us to Minneapolis, July 26th through the 30th. I think the theme speaks for itself, resilient roots and empowered communities. This is, it's a platform in, just so many areas that span across advanced research computing, the research, the development, discovery. It brings people together in all the spaces of computing, network, data storage, visualization, workflows, workforce development, and collaboration. And I really think in terms of my experience with it, it totally does that. And I think anybody within any of those areas and on the fringe would benefit from it. So happy to have you all considering, or if you've already registered. So next slide. As we've talked about the resilient roots and empowering communities, it really is kind of embedded in its DNA in terms of supporting the foundation and building communities. And hopefully you'll find that there. One of the things that I found super valuable there is also the much larger scale infrastructure organizations that really help expand your knowledge, your networking, your access to resources, and broadening your community. So it's really just in the DNA of what this conference is trying to do for the community and the people. Next. Why attend? I guess I'm kind of reiterating the same thing over and over. Community. it really brings together a broad section of the community. You actually also are going to meet funders. You're going to be the government organizations, higher ed, research institutions, national labs, the federal agencies, and then the consortiums that pull all those people together and expand the resources. They're bringing the latest technologies through the invited papers and the submissions to build this conference, and then expanding and sharing your experiences. I've got a few people on this call that are involved in a program that we have at UC San Diego that really kind of has shown me as coming from an R1 institution is actually the resources that we have to kind of share and expand and help the community that doesn't have the same level of resources. So it's kind of a program like this also that allows those that maybe don't have the same level of resources that I have access to, where to go find those things. So I find that extremely valuable. Numbers at a glance. This conference will likely reach 1,000 or more. And I think we lost some of the details. I think last year, 43% of registrants were new attendees. So this community is growing and more people are attending. Even in challenging times, this continues to grow. Um, since I lost the scale at the bottom, I'm sorry, I don't remember what the 35% is and what the 50% is. So I'll move along from there. Next slide. Registration details. Jump in now. May 29th is coming soon. Early registration, and then that jumps pretty significantly after that. And obviously, we don't recommend that you register on site. There's a number of levels if you're an ACM member, or if you want to become an ACM member, you have an opportunity to do that on those pages. And they keep the student program pretty low and reasonable. So I would say jump on it. May 29th is coming in what? Well, in about a week from tomorrow. So if you haven't registered, please do so. Next slide. Conference program overview. So, I know you all have access to the program details, and I think it reiterates a lot of the things that I've already said. It's a robust program starting on, actually, the program starts on Monday, or on the formal program starts on Monday with tutorials and workshops. And registration would then be open then as well. You've got the technical tracks. You've got community and networking events, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. The student program, one of our other colleagues, Susie Gardner, is not with us this morning as she had intended to. She's involved in the student program. That actually spans longer than the conference. So if it's something that any of you are involved in, definitely look directly to the student program. It's robust. It's full, it's long, it's an amazing program. The plenary sessions and the technical program with the keynotes, the papers, BOFs, panels, community focus sessions um, with the presentations and the panels, the posters and the Viz showcase. So the poster sessions they'll have, I believe that's scheduled that's scheduled on Tuesday evening. um, Exhibitor forum. So I don't recall exactly how things were set up this coming year, but last year was really quite unique because it was a huge space and you walk through the technical or the exhibitor forum into the program. And so there was a ton of engagement for the exhibitors and just to be part of the program rather than off to the side. It was a unique setup. These are exhibitors that support this community in all areas. So it's a super valuable asset to this group and to this community, and we encourage you to engage with them, and they invest in it. So we want to be sure to give back to them as well. We couldn't do these things without our exhibitors. So Yep, I encourage that. Co-located events, workshops and events. This is one of those CARC Nexus Day is one of those consortium, large organizations that brings a lot of people together and provides a lot of resources to the community. I believe their anchor event is on Sunday, and then they'll participate through the week with us. Next page. Conference program at a glance. As you can see, they're talking about the student program starting on Friday with more activities on Saturday, Sunday. You know what? I'm seeing that we have a change on here. So Saturday, this shows first-time attendee orientation and happy hour. That's actually on Sunday. So things got moved up. Sunday is, yeah, this adjusted. I'm sorry, folks. So really refer to the online program for the program. On Sunday, we're kicking off at 4:30, the first time attendee orientation. We're taking a tour of the facility, and then we'll join the Nexus Day group for a happy hour. That's Sunday at 4:30 to 6:30. And then per this, we'll just shift things down. On Monday is the workshop and tutorials, and first-time attendee dinner group. I'll talk more about that. Tuesday would be the technical program. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And keep in mind, Thursday is a half day. So next slide. So here's the specific first-time attendee activities. We welcome you to join us on site Sunday afternoon at 4:30 to 5:30. We're going to do an orientation, get your registration, and walk through the venue. And then following that, join the Nexus group for a reception and seasons. I guess it's on the second floor in the front end of the convention center. On Monday evening, after the first session, they're hosting dinner groups. And last year I participated in this, and I'll be honest with you, I was a little hesitant. I didn't quite know how this was going to work. What we had set up on Google Drives was probably 12 to 15 groups of 8 people each with a lead. And we identified restaurants across the city that were in walking distance, and leads took each shift, and an invitation will be sent out in July for everybody who have checked the box that said, I'm attending for the first time. And people populated. And actually, it was a great evening. Dynamic, fun conversation, people meeting each other, and people who were attending for the first time had familiar faces to connect with through the week that really just got things started. I actually did see people connecting and moving through the conference with the people that they had met at dinner. And frankly, we had a great time. I had some additional SDSCers join us, and we had a great evening. So I would highly recommend the dinner group. It's like no pressure. It's a nice evening out. It gets you out into a restaurant. You can choose the restaurant of your choice. And we've got people who are local who are helping us identify those restaurants. So when you see that email, please sign up. If you don't happen to see that email for any reason, reach out to PEARC. The PEARC, their contact information. Definitely, we can get you that information. And Sunday, I'm sure there'll be slots still left open. All right, next slide. Tuesday evening. So this group and this conference always tries to do a social evening, and we're going to the Mill City Museum. As I look through Minneapolis information, I see that this is a highlight to the city. And so, bring your voice, karaoke night. This is included in your registration. There's no additional charge. If you happen to be traveling with somebody, I think you can find an additional charge on the registration if you want to include that person. And it'll be, yeah, food, drinks, and a lot of fun hitting up a local museum. And that would be Tuesday evening. Next slide. Um, these I just want to bring to your attention. I'm sorry, the date has passed. I hope you saw information about this. Um, this this program reaches out across the community for support to assist in folks that need assistance, financial assistance, whether it's to travel, whether it's to help support costs to bring somebody with them, and early career. I know also, I've also seen some emails on a separate string for a different community that has reached out that's holding some event that's offering additional travel sponsorship. So the community understands that the need is out there, and the community also is stepping in to provide those resources. It's a generous amount that I've seen over the past couple of years, so don't hesitate to, in the future, to reach out for these grants and ask for them. Let your colleagues know and your community know, because people are struggling and they're having challenges finding the finances, the funding to do the things that they're trying to do. So I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of this for the future. Next slide. Getting ready and preparing. So CVents app. So they're going to be posting on the site the app that they'll be using for the conference. Many of you have used these. Obviously, they're super helpful to have it right on your phone where you're heading next, what the location is and the times, and put your whole agenda together. Obviously, we recommend that you review the program ahead of time. In the registration, you've already identified your tutorials for Monday and how you're going to spend that day, and then the app will help you put everything else together. Wireless is going to be available to everybody there. I know this group has had a conversation when we go into conferences like this. We say, you have to understand with this group, they're going to have 2 and 3 devices. And so the network needs to be robust enough to manage that. The conference blocks hotels, as everybody is well aware of. We do rely on the community to use those conference hotels, and I just want to make sure you're all aware, book early. The conference has a date put on it. July 3rd is the end date, but really these rooms are available until they fill. And yeah, I mean, numbers don't exceed everybody who's going to attend, so you want to register early. My understanding is all 3 conference hotels are like right next to the convention center, if not entirely connected to the convention center. So they're super close and handy. The PEARC conference takes the um, code of conduct really seriously in terms of, we want this to be a welcoming, safe, harassment-free, collaborative space. So we've put some things in place, people to contact, space to be able to go to ensure that that's the case for this conference. And I've got a slide on that coming up. Poster printing, many of you will need to print posters. There's some printing options in the content for Know Before You Go. The conference has like 6 key locations where you can print a poster. So you'll find that on the Know Before You Go guide. Next slide. Registration desk and getting situated. So, the obvious things about registration, if you're registering if you're showing up Monday morning, the lines are going to be long. So anticipate that. Sunday, if you show up, it's going to be easy to get your badge and get started. Just know that registration really is the hub. They're going to be the information for you. The other thing that's super important is many people have dietary restrictions, and this group really does take that very seriously. They ask that in the registration. They do look at that. They work with the back of the house to develop a menu that supports the diverse needs that this community would have. If you have any special needs that you feel like need to be addressed or you need to talk to somebody about it, go to the registration desk or somebody at the registration table that's going to have direct access to the lead who's dealing with catering and the kitchen that can pass things along and ensure that they can do the best to meet the needs that you have. And once again, the wireless access will be there. There's that little note at the bottom if you don't have a smartphone or it's not working, they can print you a copy at the desk. Or even if you prefer to work that way, hard copies can be printed at the registration desk. Next slide. The accessibility and belonging. The intent is this is an inclusive environment for everybody. The convention center supports ADA requirements, needs, and has pushed to ensure that it's an accessible space. They also have an information desk. So for anything for that venue or needs for accessibility there, please feel free to reach out to that visitor information center in the bottom right-hand corner, which would be on the main level. The conference has put together two spaces to ensure that people can just kind of step away. One of them is a quiet space. It's intended to really step away from conversation and technology. These conferences and the people and the engagement and conversation, it can be a lot for all of us. So if you need just a quiet place to step away, that's going to be in 203A. And then a safe space. If you find yourself in a space where you need a little assistance or you need somebody to talk to or you just need assistance in any way. The 203B is going to be that space. We've got a couple of people who are trained to support situations where somebody has a need and they need somebody to talk to or they need assistance. And I've got some information about that as well. The other area as well, if immediate assistance is needed, the visitor's information for security or medical assistance. And those folks are going to be there from 8 till 4. And we've talked about the code of conduct in general, um, uh, covers just the backbone of what the conference is all about and what they believe in. Next slide. As we talked about, I'm going to start on the right-hand side just to carry through. The safe space is 203B. We have a phone number that you can call or text if you need to reach anybody, or an email if you need to share information. This information is on the Know Before You Go and will be on, obviously, the PEARC website. Also, these slides will be posted. So all this information we went through is going to be posted on the site. Talking about key spaces, and if you join us on Sunday, we'll do the walkthrough. When you arrive at these convention centers, they're big, they're vast, and they can also include a lot of space that you don't use. So finding the space that is the main space for this conference is nice just to kind of get situated. So we've got a main ballroom, and then we've got a series of meeting rooms that you're going to find all the additional activity in. As I've already gone over, the safe space 203B, the quiet room 203A, the student program 101A and B, and the staff office is 101J. And the visitors information will be found on level 1, and there's also the phone number to reach them. Next slide. How to participate. Arrive early. Anticipate a few lines early on. Get your scheduling in order. Work on, how are you going to engage with the group so that you leave with more resources that you came with. the engagement in this group, as we all know, is not, um, it's all the needs that you have in your work and your personal and professional life. I mean, many people would be there looking for opportunities and the next opportunities. Early careers are looking for where their next steps and how they might want to take their career or take their experience and their education into this environment. So think about how to engage. With that, I know one of the things we've talked about is like prepare your elevator pitch. And obviously, a great way to introduce yourself in a very quick snippet, what you're there for and what you're looking for. And yeah, um, engage with the exhibitor forum and the exhibitors. See what they have to offer, whether it be job opportunities, whether it be resources. That's what they're there for. Um, Obviously, wear your badge. Your badge is required throughout the conference, but take it off when you go outside. We just don't need to target ourselves in terms of, us being a visitor to the city. So that just is a general reminder. Um, I like this one, flexibility. Feel free to move between sessions just because you have sat down in a session. If it doesn't really meet your needs or isn't maybe what you expected, get up and move to another run. Um, I know Susie says she kind of sits near the back so she can assess where she is and if she wants to stay or if she wants to move around. So whatever works for you. The tutorials, even the tutorials are flexible, but they're really trying to get an understanding of who wants to be where. So that one is far more dedicated to your registration. The others are not. Be sure to network and the networking tips like the 30-second elevator pitch. Bring business cards or the digital apps and consider how are you going to engage with folks. Next slide. Get yourself connected, whether it be obviously know where the information is on the web page. There's a mailing list for PEARC. So this way, get yourself engaged, learn about new things, connect if you wanted to connect in terms of opportunities for getting involved. The LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, and you can always reach PEARC at connect@PEARC. Um, Next slide. Yeah, what to pack. I come from a really kind of balanced climate in Southern California, and so um, I think we've all transitioned to pretty comfortable shoes. You do a lot of walking during a conference and then out in the city, depending on where you go or where you stay. Um, Most of the facilities now have water stations, so you can refill your water bottles. Obviously, that's recommended. Um, the weather's going to be warm, but it also can be wet. So plan for that. And then we walk into a convention center where it's air conditioned. So they recommend layers. Um, Device charges, be sure to bring that and your business cards. And like we said, rain gear. Next slide. Um, You're going to use a Minneapolis airport. One thing I learned is they have two terminals, and actually the two terminals have offer two different addresses in two different cities. So one's Minneapolis, one's St. Paul, but it's all in the same airport. So that was something that I learned. Obviously you've got rideshare options, but you also have the Metro Transit and the light rail. So I understand the Blue Line is a direct connect to the convention center in the downtown area from the airport. Know that the weather can vary and it can be hot, humid, and wet. Um, you're going to find in the Know Before You Go, here's some areas that they're highlighting, Chain of Lakes, arts and culture, lots of museums, the Stone Arch Bridge, food and drink. I personally am not really a burger person, but I keep hearing about this Juicy Lucy. So I'm interested in somehow I've got to try that. Um, And in the Know Before You Go guide, you're going to find more information from some locals that have recommended some of the local highlights in the community. So that's another, be sure to check these things out and, enjoy where they've landed this because they've done it to bring people to places that would be interesting and fun. Next slide. Your feedback matters. And I know this is true. So you'll be seeing things that are looking for your feedback and really comment on that because they really do take it seriously and they adjust the next program based on what they hear, technology that people need to learn about, resources people need to learn about. The community really does sit down with this information. Most of you recognize that when the information, surveys are involved in kind of all aspects of our working life, whether it's how to use the technology specifically and the resources, or how was your experience, and they are gonna listen to you and they are gonna pivot and adjust and try to meet those needs for the community in the next time. The other thing I would say is get involved. Besides kind of the effort of getting involved, it really assists in expanding your community. And I kind of can't say enough about that in terms of personal and professional growth. This is one of those communities that's super inclusive. They're happy to have the participation, and you can get involved and participate really at any scale involved in the program. So um, everybody is welcome. Next slide. After the conference, it's just recommended just to be able to build the kind of the assets that you started, following up with folks, sharing your feedback, getting involved in the next year, and stay connected with PEARC and by extension, the community. Next slide. There we go. All right. So I want to open things up for questions.